Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're going to be taking a look at some excerpts, some auditions from Street Dance China Season 6. I've been watching the full episodes with the reactions and observations on Patreon, and whatever I am able to get from that excerpt-wise uploaded onto YouTube without copyright issues, that's what you get to see, like this video. But yeah, definitely excited to kind of take a look at all of these with you. And if you want to see any of these types of contents or my context behind a lot of what I'm coming across as, if it feels a little bit different than what you're seeing in the video, then you can check it out on Patreon because, like I said, I have the full episodes released there.
Okay.
So he made it to like the team challenges, it looks like. Oh, come on. Wow! That was beautiful. That was so fun. Okay. So he's a really good example of being very fluent in the craft, but also exploring the genre of music to integrate it. His musicality choices are what makes it and give the appearance of it's not a facade. His character he's bringing. It's something that's an authentic representation of how he interprets the track. And it doesn't feel choreographed, which is another thing. It doesn't feel it feels structured enough to where you can, you just notice that he integrated. He didn't just do house steps. He didn't just do an Indian top rock, right? He didn't just do these styles and then he did locking in between, like what we saw from one of our other auditionees. But what he did was he did something similar to what Candyman did, but Candyman approached with the afro and more of that type of groove set and posture. For him, he did more house and he did more breaking into his set, but his character and how he interpreted it was really, really nice. From the top of this, it's just fun. Just look on his face. He's just like, okay. And he doesn't take himself seriously. And he's like, I'm about to have a lot of fun and I hope you have fun with me. Not I'm gonna perform fun for you. It's I'm having fun and I'm glad that you get to watch. It's subtle, right? It's about intention. It's just, you see everyone smiling and enjoying it. And he's good. Like, his variations are when he chooses to vary up a Scooby-Doo or a Gimme 5 or a point. He does it in a way that is tasteful, makes you enjoy the track, works with the track, and works with the context of how we set up the move to begin with. It doesn't look like here's a sequence of locking choreo or a sequence of locking steps. It's I'm integrating this high five here or the gimme five because the gimme five feels like the most appropriate option in this moment to properly execute this sound with a sidewalk house step, you know? So it's just really enjoyable. Yeah, he goes da 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 da. It's just so enjoyable. Over with the point. And I don't know if that woo it was in the music, I'm assuming it was, but just notice he's very clean and clear. And when he chooses to interrupt his movement, he finishes his movements prior to that happening, so it doesn't look cut off and spastic, which is really nice. That right there, da 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 da, and then he looks down. He's interacting with himself as well as the audience around him and his music, which is really helpful. His walks were super fun. Those walks were great. Yeah, and he's using his staging, his spacing, using his levels. And his stuff's really fun because when you hear the instrument shift, he shifted as well. And it's chaotic, but structured and enjoyable. Like, it feels like chaos in control. Not like what we saw from our other gentleman. He was more, what's the word? He was a risk taker, but also a low-key loose cannon, so he could be a potential liability, is what his choices were appearing, if that makes sense. But here it's he can pop off and he doesn't have to take himself so seriously, but he's very competent within who he is as a locker, and he doesn't have to do those things to showcase his fingerprints of his identity like we saw from our other guy. You know how he held it, like everybody's engaging in that. Yeah, and he's just right in the middle. I love that. Whoops. But the knee drop was nice. So we did see him do the knee drop already. So that'll just be my one note. But then he's dancing on his toes. It's so fun with his points. Yeah, that's very clean and clear. He's making really fun abstract choices, but they all complement each other with the track. He's very mindful of his track at all times, but it's not overly choreographed to where it is elementary in content or complexity, because that's something that's beautiful. That right there, that whole sequence was so fun. When he goes right there into the kick, into the muscle mans, into the wrist rolls and the whole shebang. I love it. Just look at it. He's just giddy. He is having fun, and it makes me have fun. Yeah. And he looks, he goes, oh, you know, and where he's looking makes us want to look there as well. That was great. It's joy. Like, I feel so much joy watching this, and he's just fully committed in the upper body. And then when he does that split, he goes, ow. He gives the appearance that it was definitely very painful, but when you look as he comes up, he's like, just kidding. So he's performing with his face, but it's not overkill. And that right there, and he matches that beautifully with a transition. Then he does a controlled fan, time step, matches into the sidewalk right there. That build up happening right there. He's building it up with his footwork into a side somersault with a split. So that is a heavily higher in difficulty way to do a split in comparison to the one that he did earlier. It was really fun that he was foreshadowing a little bit, and it was enjoyable. And because of how he controlled and gave character and showcased complexity prior to that happening, people didn't look at it like oh, is he okay? I mean, some of them may be like, whoa, but it's definitely, they have more confidence in it. He meant to do that, and he meant to come out of it in that way. In comparison to some of the other guys, they may have taken risks, but because of their risk taking, they didn't provide any sort of comfort or confidence with their audience that they can trust that the risks that they're taking are safe, or they're fluent in, if that makes sense. And that's why I think part of me is like, ooh, a potential liability with some of these people auditioning. I will say my only note, though, is some of his footwork is similar in how he's choosing to interpret it in comparison to how other people, what's the right wordage? Like, so you can see a little bit of breaking, a little bit of house, you can see a little bit of just regular transitional footwork. So I think that my note for him would be to be mindful and more clear on, I know with the fiddle, they can hit a lot of different notes very quickly. So just my overall note would be to just be mindful of the choices that are made with your footwork, because it can stem from looking a little too similar in how you're choosing to execute that timbre of the track But also, because of his caricature or his context in between those footwork sections, I think it's definitely more, there's more grace filled in those in comparison to him just showing that, if that makes sense. Twirl. That's fun right there. When he goes, he pops off, and then he does a little turnaround and comes right back. That right there too. So instead of pulling, he just does like a little Tom and Jerry right there. And then he goes, and it's just building it while keeping notability within certain sounds have been executed with certain parts of the body. He's keeping them there, but just varying it up, which is really fun. And he goes, so I would say definitely one of the best performers that we've seen in Locking, especially, but just out of all the auditions, that was so captivating, so humorous, but also he showed competency within the style he was justifying as well. And that's a beautiful collaboration and definitely a great mix of things that you would want, especially if you're wanting to look for people that have their own spice to them. I think he definitely provides that. And we also know that he has a history on the show. So these captains and other people have seen him before and they've seen what he's capable of. So that may also help him in getting a towel as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that was helpful in some way. If you want to see any Street Fighter content, Street Dance China content, K-pop content, or dance content of the like, I have all of it on Patreon as well as a ton of it here on YouTube. If there's something that you want me to react to specifically, I have options on Patreon that you can go and check out because the holiday season is coming up. It's a really great opportunity. I may have some special discounts and special opportunities depending on what tier you choose to join that could hopefully keep spreading the holiday cheer through the end of 2023. I'm Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.